Hello guys, Lit here. So I've been blasting Last Epoch since it launched. I sleep a little bit, but I still blasting the game and I'm having fun. The game is really fun to play and they do a lot of upgrade. I think they do a really good job on Season 2.0. So in this video, I want to try to introduce the game and let me sell the game to you guys if you haven't played it already, because I really think this is a good game. And no, I'm not sponsored. My channel is too small for any sponsor. The only reason why I made this video because I think the dev did a really good job on the game and I want to help them a bit, try to introduce the game to more people, because I think this is a very good ARPG. So for the context, the first time I'm playing Last Epoch is on it launch, and that's also the last time I play it. And I come back basically on 2.0. Back in the day, I think it's a good game, but it just doesn't have that much content yet because it's just launched. But the game have a very good structure. And at 2.0, which basically Season 2, Last Epoch get a lot of upgrades. It get a better graphics, so in terms of like art style, it's still the same, but the fidelity of the graphic is a lot improved. The detail is better, the animation is a lot smoother, the texture is a lot sharper, so everything just looks a lot nicer, but still with the same art style. And we also get a lot of content, basically endgame content. We get Harbinger, we get Aberrod, we also get Uber Aberrod, which is new for this season. And by the time of recording, I think MP just get the first kill on the group play, so congratulations to MP. But the point is, we get a lot of content in 2.0, which basically solved all my issue with Last Epoch before. Because before, I still play the game because it's just a fun game. I like playing it. It's just you don't have anything to do, but in 2.0 now we have a lot of things to do. So one thing that I like about Last Epoch is the game curve progressions, and in my opinion Last Epoch have the best game curve progressions because on the early game it's pretty easy to do, so there's not that much gatekeeping. I'm pretty sure anyone can just play the campaign and they will be able to feel the campaign pretty easily, and you can learn the game there, you can get used to the game there. And when you get to the early monolith, which basically a mapping system on Last Epoch, it's getting a little bit harder, but I would say it's relatively easy. And when you go to the Emperor monolith, which I consider an endgame, things get a lot harder. So when you get to the Emperor monolith, things get a little bit more spicy. You cannot just face anything. You make mistake, you're going to get punished, but not that hard yet. The thing I will say, the difficulty is like around medium on the Empire Monolith. It's not too hard, it's not too easy, it's still pretty nice. And so far I'm at 100 corruptions. 100 corruption is very low, but 100 corruptions is still pretty decent. I'm pretty sure I can go to 200, 300. And corruption is basically a systems on Last Epoch, which you can scale the difficulty of the monster. So the higher the corruption you go, the harder the difficulty will be, but also you will get more reward, which is good for the game and for the player, because now you can get into a harder content, you can get yourself challenged, but when you do that challenge, you're still getting rewarded, you get loot, you get the item, you get the better items, and so on and so forth. So the progressions go from easy and is eventually ramping up, and when you start to pushing corruptions, now the difficulty getting harder and harder. And you could basically can go as far as high as you want. At some point you're probably going to get one shot, but that's something you can do inside Last Epoch, and I like that kind of system because that's allow you to scale your difficulty. Let's say that you have a build that are really strong, you get really good items, things become a lot boring here, you can go to higher corruptions and you can still feel a little bit more fun, and you also get rewarded for it. The item progression is also the same with the game curve progressions, because it's quite easy to get the item that are useful, and to get items that are decent is not too hard. But to get the perfect items, now that's one need a real effort, which is I think is good, because if you make everything easy, things will become too boring. And when we're talking about item progressions, I have to talk a little bit about the factions, because that's one thing that I think also Last Epoch did very well. So there's a 4 factions right now in the game. The Harbinger and the Wolfen, you're always going to get their factions because that's the end game part. But the 2 early factions is the exciting one. So number 1, you have Merchant Guild, basically you get access to trading, and the second one is Circle of Fortune, which is what I'm in right now. So in Circle of Fortunes, you cannot trade with people, because in order to trade you have to join the other guild, which basically makes Circle of Fortunes SSF. If you ever play Path of Exile, Path of Exile 1, Path of Exile 2, it have a Soul Self-Found mode, which basically you cannot really trade with anyone, so you have to find everything yourself. And for me personally, I never really get into Soul Self-Found because I think it's just make things a little bit more tedious, because now you have to find everything, and something that are not necessarily rare still can be hard to find just because it's a global drop or something like that. There's no way to target farm that one, and you're just going to have to grind it. So I never really like SSF because of that one. But in Last Epoch is the only game that I play with SSF mode. The reason for that one, because Circle of Fortune give you a lot of bonus. For example, just when you rank up on the factions, you're going to get a lot of bonus from each rank. And you also get access to things like called prophecy. So prophecy in Last Epoch is like a quest. When you take the quest, you finish the quest, you get rewards. So for example, this prophecy over here, I need to kill 3 diamond matrons. There's no condition whatsoever. Sometimes there is one with conditions like this one have to do in monolith, and a certain thing, this one you have to kill a boss of a certain timeline, but you will have to do it in 250 corruptions. And when you're able to do the quest, you will get reward, and the reward is something that you can choose. For this one is give me specifically unique offhand catalyst, and if I need something like one, I will do something like this. This specifically give me unique one. So I have a tools to farm a specific things, and this is really helpful. For example, right now I need a armor. The armor that I need is not a unique armor, but it's a exalted armor. So exalted in Last Epoch, especially one more tier above rare, and if I need those exalted body armor, I can just basically keep rerolling, and it will show me item that on the list. So this is especially the quest. I can get like the rare boots, I can get exalted helmet, I can get unique glove, and this one is the exalted armor, but I need to kill the boss on the Stonelands timeline. So for example, like, okay, I can use this prophecy, I like this prophecy, I will buy the prophecy, and I can use the prophecy. That's simple. So basically the game gives you tools to basically target farms a certain things that you need. So and that's make the solo self-found mode a lot more fun. Because in trade there's a downside. Like when I play PoE 1 and the league start coming in, I have to kind of getting really fast on the early game, because everything on early game is a lot cheaper. Like day 1, day 2, everything is a lot cheaper. So if I can get to the end game, I can farm faster, I can get things a lot cheaper. This is how you can see few people that going into the game, and day 3, day 4, they already have like all the god tier items, they can buy they already have all the expensive item. The reason for that one, because on the early game, this kind of item is pretty cheap compared to like the usual price. When the game goes into like day 4, day 5, the price starts to go up significantly. So if you're someone who's starting late or you are slow, you kind of get punished for that one. And this is the reason why I'm always trying really hard on the early game, and I never really like it, because that's basically just FOMO. I just want to get the item cheaper. That's basically it. And not to mention also the trading experience on PoE. I never really like trading. It's just I never really want to go into SSF because there's a lot of restriction that I don't really like, that I don't think is necessary. But in Last Epoch, it's basically just give me the tool to bypass the restrictions. So that's the reason why when I play Last Epoch, I never think about the merchant guilds. I tried on the launch, but it's like, okay, this is a trading just as like usual trading, but I not really have like any urge to join the trade. I rather just go for solo self-found. I can farm my own gear and get everything I want anyway. So that's why this game is the only game that I play solo self-found. And to be honest, if you're a new player, I really highly suggest go for Secret of Fortunes. You can target from the items. There's no need to rush, just progress with your own pace. I think that's a better way to enjoy game. And the next one that I really like about Last Epoch is the crafting system. In Last Epoch, the crafting system is pretty easy, and it does give you a lot of control over the crafting process. So for examples, at my screen over here, I have a random one. Let's say that I want to put fire damage because I'm a fire build. I can click prefix over here. It will show the fire damage. I can add affixes and it gives me fire damage. It's that simple. And if I want to add something on the suffix, let's say like, I don't know what good on the suffix, chance to ignite. I click chance to ignite, I add the affixes, and it get the chance to ignite, as simple as that. So you have a lot of control to put things into your items. But the crafting system does come with the limitations. For example, if you see it on the items or on the top over here, it have what we call forging potentials. And the higher tier of the items, it will get more forging potentials, which basically just mean the forging potential is like how many times you can craft the gear. So for examples, if I want to increase the tier of the fire damage, it will say that I will cost 1 to 10 forging potentials, and this is random from 1 to 10. If you get unlucky, you will spend all your 10 forging potential, and we only have 8 left, and we cannot craft the items any further from that. And that's basically the limitations of the crafting system. But the system itself gives you a lot of control on how you want to manage the gear. And in my opinion, that's a very good system because it's not punishing you from the start. Even for a new player, they can play around with the crafting system, and the crafting system is pretty intuitive. You kind of have to learn about the glyph and the runes, but it only have like 10 runes and it only have like 5 glyphs. With the crafting system like this, you can achieve a relatively good gear pretty fast. And if you want to grind for the perfect item, you also can do that. So it's end up, I feel like I have the tools to overcome the challenge that the game have to offer. And this is the reason why I like the crafting on Last Epoch, even if I compare it to PoE1, because PoE1 does have a problem with the complexity, while Last Epoch is a lot more intuitive. And in Last Epoch, I will say that you have a lot more control on what you put on your items. And the last one I want to talk about is the end game, specifically on the mapping. Because I'm not a bosser, I don't really like doing much bosses, but I do really like mapping. And mapping in Last Epoch feels really, really nice. It feels very fun because the enemy can be strong, but you also have power. So it's basically like, okay, let's fight. That's what I like about a game like this. There is a challenge, but the game also gives you the tools to do the challenge. That's also the reason why I really like PoE2 on 0.1. Because on 0.1, the monster is hard, but I feel like I have power, so let's fight. That's fine. And the end game, yes, it feels a little bit too much. They can reduce that, but on the campaign, when I play campaign on 0.1, the bosses is new. I have to learn the mechanic, and it does punish me for making mistake, but I do not feel powerless. I do not feel like I cannot overcome the challenge. I feel like, okay, I can do this. It's beatable, and I can beat it. And for me, that's a really good dynamic to have between the game and the player. And in mapping on the Last Epoch, it feels almost the same. At least on my build. Maybe some build can be immortal. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. But on my build that I play, I do have a power. The enemy have the power. It doesn't feel trivial because I cannot face tank everything. And even if I can go up to the higher corruptions, and I can have a proper challenge, and I can have fun. And the monster density is also pretty nice. A lot of things happening in the maps. A lot of things you have to do. It have a lot more flashy animations compared to like PoE1. But in general, I really like the mapping on Last Epoch just because it's fun to play with it. It's fun to progress with it. It's fun to just play the map. Can engage with the mechanic like the Harbinger, the Exile Mages, the Wolfen, which is a new mechanic on 2.0. All of them is feel pretty fun, and all of them also feels very rewarding. And this is the game that I can play again and again and again. And I always have stuff to do. I can progress all my items. If I get all my items, I can try new builds because I'm still pretty new at this game. So there's a lot of things to try out. And seeing on like even just YouTube or Maxroll, there's a lot of build on the game. So I don't think the build diversity is bad either. Although that's something that I probably cannot promise because I haven't tried everything. So technically I still don't know about the build diversity. But so far I'm playing it, I'm feeling fun, I'm having fun. For me, the game is really, really fun. And with all of that said, I can highly recommend this game. If you haven't played Last Epoch, I highly suggest try it out. The price is not expensive. I think it's around $35 for the games, and there's no additional cost. I buy $35 at the first launch. I don't have to buy again when the new season comes. I can just play it. And the developer makes money from selling MTX that are cosmetic, which is, in my opinion, is the best way to monetize your game because that way it doesn't affect the gameplay. And compared to like game this day, for example, like Diablo 4, you have to pay like $70. If you want to start earlier, you have to pay $100. And if a new season comes, you have to keep paying and all that stuff. So I think the price for Last Epoch is very fair, $35 for the game with this much content. Especially on 2.0 when I try it right now, you have a lot of things to do. You can try a lot of stuff. The game have a lot to offer, so I think it's a really good price to buy the game. And once again, this is not sponsored. I'm not getting paid to say all of this. I just think that the dev did a very good job, and I want to help them a little bit by making this video and hope that more people will try the game. At least just give them a chance, give the game a fair shot, and see the game as what it is. And if the game is interesting for you, you can keep playing it. If the game is not for you, then that's fine, right? Like, at the end of the day, we play Gun for Fun, and I played this for like 2 days, and when I combine it on my experience on the first launch, I'm still having fun. The game is still have the same structure, but have a lot of improvement standing on top of it. So the game just getting better, and I'm really, really happy playing it. I'm having fun. So that's all I have for you today. So thank you everyone for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and I will see you the next one.